bright and early here in the morning. Actually, it's not. I don't know why I said that. It's middle of the afternoon. But regardless, we are here to watch another episode. Had a very late night, so I am exhausted. And I kind of just hopped out of bed, showered, and here I am. Not the ideal situation that I would want to be in to record at least. But I did tell myself we're going to do this every day. And if I decided to say, no, we're going to take a day off, you never know where those things end up spiraling. So I'm just gonna stick to it. We're just gonna do it. So I'm sorry if I don't have the energy or if I sound a little out of it or whatever it is. We're gonna try and lock in and we're gonna try and get going what we want. Another episode of Alya. I am very excited for it. I have tons of fun watching the show, and I'm just excited to see what's to come next. We're essentially going to war here. I don't. It's a war, if we're being honest, a verbal war at that. But we are with the elections and everything kind of growing close, testing relationships, kind of between our main two, as well as I guess the entirety of the school to see their own dynamic and buy into their system and their beliefs. And we'll see what that kind of gets us. I'm excited to see how all that unfolds. If we're gonna have a strategy meeting leading into it, if we're just gonna jump into it this episode here, we're gonna wear our heart on our sleeves, or if we're just gonna try and manipulate the audience into believing things. I don't know, but I'm excited. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, like and subscribe. Do not to be feel free to stick around for the discussion. Let me comment to this episode of series. Let's get going with episode 8. The Student Congress, baby.
生徒会加入における教師の査定の導入か。教師の覚えがよろしくない俺をピンポイントで狙い撃ちしてますね。本当にやるのか？お前たちには何のメリットもないように思えるが。
My pride.
メリットならあります。彼女を倒せれ
We
ば
got.
次期会長候補として箔がつきます。
I guess that's true.
あの人は
Right. We can't just let that go undone. Action needs to be taken.
気が済みません。
そうか。
Love the serious
悪い
attitude.
ことだけじゃありません。終業式の挨拶を前にお披露目の場を得られたんですからね。
アーレさん、頑張ってくださいね。
Thank you, Yuki.
ええ、ありがとう。
あ、
Wish Yuki would cheer me on like that.
この想定をもとにお前ならどう反論する？
This is sweet. Nice little time. It's like a study session, you know?
もう少し主張をまとめる必要はあるけど。
ねえ、クゼ。
Bounce ideas off each other, work together.
山さんと仲が悪いの？
Yeah, we don't mess with her.
いや、そんなことはないと思う。それなりに互いを尊重し合ってうまくやれてたと思うぞ。
そう。なら谷山さんはなんであんなことをしたのか
Can't
し
let
ら。
history repeat itself.
そうだな。多分俺が愉快犯的に選挙戦を引っかき回してるとでも思ったんだ。
It could be, but I think she's just like taking as many precautions as she can after what happened the last time.
俺はもともとユキのパートナーだったからさ。大本命のユキとのペアを解消して、それ以外の候補と手を組むなんて、ふざけていると思われても無理はないよ。
そんなこと。私がクゼ君とペアを組んだから。
There's nothing wrong with that. No, 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 no. Causing trouble for others through things unintentionally.
どうした？
私、明日は頑張るわ。
あ、そうだな。
This girl's gonna wake up with no sleep at all. She's gonna be locked in all night.
ふぜっちおひさん、今日はよろしくね。
Who are you?
もうなんか変か。
お前、緊張感なさすぎじゃないか。
まあ、私は学生議会の最中は出番ないし、気楽なもんっすわ。
I love her voice.
どうも、私は宮前ののは、一応さやっちの相方やってまーす。
Mmm.
私は九条ありさ。いい討論にしましょう。
あはは、真面目だね。さやっちと気が合いそう。
今のが谷山さんの？
ああ、幼馴染らしい。性格も雰囲気も違うが、あれでも仲。
Was she the girl that she was with during the other election? I don't remember.
人脈の広さで言ったら、間違いなく学園でもトップレベルだ。
Yeah, she's pretty laid back. She seems
選挙で
chill.
は脅威ね。
Probably a little bit smarter than she leads on.
転入生なんだ。うん。成績がいいってこと。
Damn, everyone really showed up for this shit. This is serious.
私にできるの？またあの時みたいに拒絶されるだけなんじゃ。 やらなきゃ。
Yeah, what kind of image would that give off if he has to step in and be the verbal one, right? When you're supposed to be the leader.
ありゃ、お前、E カップってマジ？
Loosen her up a bit.
この状況で何言ってるのよ。
この状況だからこそ言えるってやつ？手出せないだろ？
死ねばいいのに。
ゴミを見る目かな。緊張は解けたか？ありゃ、お前の敵は誰だ？
谷山さんでしょ。
違う。お前の敵は理想とする完璧な自分だ。
Mm.
お前はお前が思う一番かっこいい自分を演じることだけ考え。
She's just kind of a stand-in. Realistically, you're fighting yourself here. Just settle down, take some deep breaths. You're well prepped. You're good. You're not fighting yourself. You're good.
依頼は生徒会加入における教師の査定の導入です。では権利者主張を。
はい。
To be fair, I think that the topic is dumb in itself.
現在生徒会役員は
Yeah, because I think that the people working under them should be appointed by them and not by others who have outside, nothing to do with their relationships or anything.
ません。事実、生徒会役員になったことがある生徒全員にアンケート調査を実施した。
マジか。わざわざそんなデータまで用意してきてるのか。
生徒会には選ばれた優秀な生徒だけが加われるようにすべき。
For what reason?
皆さんもそうではないでしょうか。
I wouldn't.
普段成績も悪く素行も良くない生徒が生徒会役員になった途端、自分の上位者となるのですよ。嫌ではないですか。
Okay, I guess.
うまいな。人事だった生徒たちを視点を変えることで当事者にした。
高い品格と権威を兼ね揃えた生徒会を実現するために、どうか皆さん賛同をお願いし。
Yeah, but one that you can all look up to and objectively respect doesn't actually equal like progress or the appropriate things in anything that's needed to get done. Work environment's incredibly crucial. And if you put two people who like socially can't work together or don't make any sense or don't do anything here, it's not gonna work out too well.
私が思う一番かっこいい私。
I think it's cool working with my friends.
そうだったわね。生徒会の核である生徒会長と副会長が持つ生徒会役員の任命権を剥奪することだからです。
True.
そもそも生徒会において最も生徒の羨望と尊敬を集める。
So if you make everybody high up and respectable, what's left?
熾烈な選挙戦を勝ち抜き、その地位を勝ち取った2人だからこそ学園から多くの権限を与えられているのです。生徒会役員の任命権はその最たるものと言えるでしょう。その権限を部分的とはいえ教師に渡すのはいかがなものでしょうか。それは今の生徒会は教師の手を借りなければ自らの威厳を守れないと言っているようなものではないでしょうか。
Yeah, we're nothing
この
without
学
them.
園は生徒の自治を重んじています。
It's also people complement each other well. And getting people in there, who can do certain jobs but maybe not others is a good thing.
加わったらどうなるでしょうか。会長と副会長は自らが見込んだ生徒を自由に生徒会に加えることができ
Exactly.
なくなるでしょう。
Environment.
先生方のお墨付きを得た役員の加入を拒むことも
And it creates a toxic area for them to possibly be in.
敵だ。谷山の主張とアーレの主張、どちらにも利はある。
Yeah, and the teachers could choose things, and people who represent themselves and their own views and stuff so much more.
と全員が役員に慣れているのが実情です。
それで問題が起きていないのなら構わないのではないでしょうか。
Oh, but it
その
has.
低下を防ぐためにも先生方の目を入れなければと考えますが、
それを決めるのは生徒会長と副会長の2人であるべきでしょう。自分たちの実力不足を認め教師に助けを求めるのも一つの決断です。しかしそれは私たちが決めることではありません。
Yeah, I mean, you putting up a fight with this and the acceptance of others just proves that you have no faith or trust in the actual president and vice president themselves right now either.
さて、どう動く？
ではそ その会長と副会長が暴走したらどうするのです。
それは
でも九条さん部外者だしな。
転入生に学園のことわかるのかな。やっぱり谷山さんでしょ。
やってくれたな桜か。
That's what I was gonna say. Why do they just randomly start with that? Pull it together. You're good.
よく頑張った。あとは任せろ。
We'll see how he handles this because I've talked about his ability to just step in and step over her almost at times.
議論って必要ですかね。
It's been fine for how long? And also, I'm just breaking this up.
選んだ時点で皆さんの気持ちは固まっているのでは。
Right, that you have enough faith in him and what he's gonna choose to do.
剣崎会長はクラスでも目立たない劣等生でした。この際はっきり言っちゃいますけど、先生方のお墨付きなんて絶対もらえないようなクソ陰キャでした。しかし剣崎会長は努力しました。成績を上げ男を磨き、陰キャ劣等生から堂々たる生徒会長候補へと変身したのです。皆さんもそんな彼を応援したいと思ったんじゃないですか。
Correct.
剣崎会長が生徒会長になれたのは、どんな生徒でも熱意さえあれば生徒会役員になれるという仕組み。
Right, and then it restricts somebody who might not academically be as well off as the others, or so him stepping in had absolutely nothing to do with correcting what they were saying about her being an outsider and stuff, which I assumed he was gonna hop in and be like, hey, I'm here, you know, and keep it grounded a bit, make sure that she, you know, don't lose sight too much of where she's coming from or understanding these things about traditions and whatever else that we might have here, which, like, she's not too far of an outsider, if we're being honest, because they've all been to the school for the same amount of years now after middle, right? I'm assuming. So, like, what's the big difference? But, yeah. You're gonna run off and cry again? Stupid. How many times are you gonna do that? Put up a fight for someone just to let that happen?
県議者の案は否決ということで。
Yeah.
いいと。
I'm not debating, that's for sure.
いやうちのさやかがどうもお騒がせしました。
それでは議案は否決。学生議会を閉会します。
That was relatively simple. Alright.
理想的な二人だと思った。全幅の信頼を持って背中を支え合う関係。はあ、あの二人は誰よりも強い絆で結ばれているのだと。あれに勝てないのはもう仕方がないと。
Jealousy? You need someone like that.
諦めることができた。だから
So for the fact for them to break
あの
up.
二人を見たとき裏切られたと思った。
I get where she's coming from, but it's like seeing two people like celebrities or somebody on the outside of a relationship, and you're just like, you're like, you guys were meant to be together. How could you possibly be with somebody else? Yeah.
なのにあの二人だから私は諦めたのにどうして本当にバカみたいです。勝手に信じて憧れて勝手に裏切られたと思って
Yup. Yup. At least you realize it.
私の一人を
Thank you. Direct parallel to Alya's fighting her own demons before.
解いた。あ派手に泣いちゃってごめんね九条さん。ここはもう私に任せてくれていいから。
Thank you.
いいのねお願い。
Look at that. You have somebody with you. This is your duo.
久世君がなぜ私を選んでくれたのか。
Oh, you
そ
know.
れは私にもわからないわ。
You know.
でも私はその意志に応えたいと思っているの。だから頑張るわ。いつかあなたにも認めてもらえるように。それだけ。
It's about the best response you could give. Good on
い
you.
やいい子だね九条さん。そうでしょうね。久世さんが選んだ人だもの。落ち着いたら久世っちや九条さんに謝りに行こうね。私も付き合うからさ。兄上もまだまだ甘い。兄上がその気になれば こんな茶番すぐに終わらせられただろうに。
Just let it go on.
まあいい。あの程度であれば所詮私の敵では。分かってない、分かってないよ。不敵に余裕たっぷりに、なんだったら目元に影も加えて、
Even though nobody will hear us or see us, we must.
これは強キャラ感を演出する重大な要素なんだよ。申し訳ございません。私の
She knows now for next time.
その強キャラ演出というのは最終的に負ける側の人間がやるものではないでしょうか。
This will be different.
先ほども申し上げましたが、調香室は飲食厳禁です。
あなたが私と立候補することを選んだのは間違いじゃなかった。
You don't gotta prove anything. He already knows.
谷山さんに認めてもらえるように。
Okay, maybe to her though.
そうだな。俺も頑張るよ。
ねえ、聞いてもいいかしら？なんでユキさんじゃなくて私と立候補することを選んだの？
God, do we gotta spell it out for you?
俺がユキと生徒会をやったのは、あいつの頼みを断りきれなかったからだ。あいつの目標を応援したい、そういう思いもあった。だけど一番は
But he finally had a
やっ
fucking
ぱり後ろ
choice.
めたさだったんだろうな。
Like he owed something.
いつもどこか息苦しかったのは、夢とか目標とかそういうものに一生懸命な周りの人間に比べて、自分の原動力ってろくでもねえなーなんて、いつも自虐的なことばかり考えてたよ。影の副会長なんて呼ばれてたけどさ、結局のところ表舞台に立ちたくなかっただけなんだよ。
A little more effort to actually do that now. Yeah,
自分の意思で副会長を目指すと決めたんだ。
right. Made your own choice.
一緒に。
This is big too.
だからまあ、ユキと比べるとかじゃなくてさ、なんというか、なんだ、そんな感じ。
そこはもう少しはっきり言ってほしかったのだけど。
うっせえ、笑ってんじゃねえか。言わねえよ。つうか、お前
Why'd you want me, yeah?
をするんだよ。
あら、そんなの簡単よ。
Because you're extremely capable.
頭下へたとい。
You start blushing. Maybe give a lot.
私の胸のサイズがどうとか。
あれね、知り合いの女の子が前にそんなことを言ってて、いや、そいつはアーリャは
I just wanted to know, realistically.
Почти правильно.
Student Congress complete and goes off really, really well, which is honestly not too much of a shock for me. I think I was fully expecting that. Before we talk about the episode, I want to pull up whatever blonde girl's voice actress is because she sounded fantastic. Also, great character design and very fun. Oh, okay. That's not at all the voice I was hearing, but it works. And it does its thing. What about total stuff though? What else does she do? Nothing else that I'm even like familiar with. But a Bochi cameo is always always relevant, always important. I mean, look at her. Look at this picture. Look at her. Where are they at? Look at that. Look at her. She looks great. Now, yeah, Congress went off really good. The topic was kind of dumb, in my opinion. I mean, I understand the perspective and what she was coming at, and I think it was more so anger and her trying to get mad about him joining something and the switch sides thing and everything that we later find out. But overall, the situation's pretty dumb from her perspective, I think, because it's simply you elect an official and then you almost elect them as if you put full trust in them. And this is supposed to be a body that almost acts entirely separate and coordinates things and does things with the best intention of the students and others kind of in mind. So if teachers are the ones going out of their way to elect somebody in that position, it causes problems for the most part, because then they can have some sort of bias, whether they think or don't think that, you know, the students are the most important one kind of in their mind, and they're doing things out of their own selfish kind of reasons, or if they are picking people solely based on what they think aligns best with what they want or what they think would work best, as opposed to what the students actually would or what works best for the entirety of the school. And you get lots of complicated issues there. I mean, a thing could have been reached possibly between them on the grounds of the teacher has to kind of interview or go through something like that with the elected officials of president and vice president to verify that they kind of withhold or uphold the values that they kind of want for the school and everything, or that they've seen before, that they appreciate or they can get behind too. And if all goes off well, then you still just give out that full trust to everybody else. But then, like, you also run into plenty of other problems. You know, if teachers have to fully elect it, only a select and handful of students will actually be able to get in. It kind of omits the idea that anybody who might be slight slackers, like we've seen with a few others, with the current president or Kuze or somebody else in general, even has the opportunity of ever getting close to any of these members within the council or getting into and becoming a student council member. So it takes away opportunity and doesn't give equal chance to everybody by forcing them to have to work hard on something exterior to allow them to get on the interior of this, which is also never really a smart idea. I mean, that works for certain aspects of life, but I think something like this, where you're trying to be inclusive and something where clearly they struggle to find the appropriate amount of people that they fully need by, you know, not turning down anybody of recent who has come up to them for it, you probably don't really want to make it more strict of a process to get people in. And then the biggest issue of it all comes in my opinion, with the overall like work environment that you're going to find yourself in, right? You have the president and you have the vice president, and them two alone set a standard for what they are looking for in people, who they can work with, and what they really want and what they want to set out and accomplish. And you go out of your way and you recruit and find people and accept in people and appoint them positions that you believe that they are capable of doing, that you believe will work well and complement you extremely well, because you are overall extremely busy in the positions that you are. Are the president capable of being the treasurer, for example? Probably. But does he have time to sit around and solely focus on that? No. So what do? You find people who can complement you really well and get the things done that you can put your faith in and you can trust, and you can confront if opportunity needs to, like if you need to, because something possibly can go wrong or whatever, and you're comfortable enough working around, and that's the choice that you end up making at the end of the day. So now you go out of your way and the teachers assign whoever the hell they want. Why are we going to do that? What does that do for us, right? Because now we're going to deal with possibly somebody who has a resentment towards you, who doesn't want to work with you, who doesn't want to get things done on the scheduling or under the exact same circumstances, or isn't on the same page as you with certain kind of issues or aspects of things, right? And then you also run into a problem where maybe they want to be president themselves, so they have things out for you and they're going to do things potentially to sabotage you and make you look bad. And possibly even you run into issues where you just can't communicate things effectively between each other because some people are mute, or some people just don't want to talk to you. Some people just don't get along and they form little groups within the council as opposed to working as an entire team. And maybe they have different interests that don't align with each other. There's so many different things, and not allowing the people in charge to be the ones who make those decisions of who will handle the day-to-day things that possibly they can't handle, or that they have to blindly put their trust almost in, is definitely an issue. So the entire argument that she essentially makes here to oppose our main two is not strong really in the slightest. And I get entirely what she's saying of the school needing to have something to uphold and needing to have these be like these kind of selective and prestigious positions that people can look up to and respect. And how can you look at somebody who is, say, less smart than you or beneath you in something, having this higher position, and actually obey or listen to them and, you know, let them represent the ideas and the things that kind of go off in your own mind. And we absolutely can understand that. But at the end of the day, if you have all the top people and every single person in the student council was qualified to become the president, what would be the point of them taking on positions that isn't president, right? It just becomes a little issue. Everybody has their roles to fill, and sometimes those role players are the most important thing and actually allow for the entirety of the team and everything and that collective to click, which you don't really get that out of if everybody's together. So she didn't really make much sense there, but it all comes full circle by the end, and it makes plenty of sense why she was doing it with her own and admiration and everything, being a shipper and all. She ended up being with her and Yuki and what she was going against and trying to just pull something out quick and whatever she could against Masachika, of course, and trying to tear him down even more. So it all comes together. This does really well too as we progress this for overall progression, I would say, between the main two characters, allowing them to experience new things, step outside of comfort zones, learn about each other a lot more, and grow their relationship a lot closer together as well, which is a great thing. It's a great developmental piece for them, which is exactly what we end up getting to see by Masachika's words towards the back end of how he's completely different and views things differently and will act on things differently than he did previously, and what ended up occurring with Yuki and how he almost felt forced into those roles. He felt guilty in some sort of way, and now here he is with a clean slate, almost feeling like he can finally fully think and operate for himself, making a decision to do something on his own and willing to kind of give that his all, on top of it being with the person that he would like to be with the most here too. I think works out extremely well. And same thing from her own perspective of stepping out and actually communicating and working well with other people, opening up and not becoming somebody who can't, openly and outwardly speak to everybody and get along with others, and putting her in a position where she has some sort of authority, which we know she definitely really would like. But I think a lot of it works out extremely well. And I definitely appreciate that. And it allows for little moments like this, of course, where they just kind of talk together and they work things out. It's like a little study session, of course, between the two of them. But I really like this. And you get to see things open up of her feeling almost guilt of feeling like she's bringing somebody into something that's unwelcome. But of course, having that reassurance at the end of, I chose this. I wanted to be a part of this. And this is nothing directly on you. Don't fully believe so. I absolutely adore her. She's so fantastic. And I hope we get more of her and develop her a little bit. Her voice is great. She's extremely fun, laid back, great to listen to. Great design, everything about her. And then we spend the bulk of the episode kind of going between this. Alya hearing the chatters between everybody within the crowd of the things that they possibly have to say or think about her, which all of it seemed a little weird with the way that it was kind of presented, because some of them were like acting like they knew her on like a level of like the way that the incident went down with the two clubs and everything, even though only a few people were there for that. Entirely, as we get to see later, a lot of these people end up getting planted. I mean, rumors and stuff could spread, so maybe that part they actually knew, but for the most part, a lot of that stuff was planted, and they were just supposed to say these things to kind of spook her and throw her off her game a lot more, which is nice that Kuze steps in here and he utilizes this as an opportunity to maybe not pick the best topic, but get her off guard a little bit and get her kind of flustered a bit, and then really calm herself and ease herself a little bit and not think about that as much. I love the way of him putting it into of like, you're literally fighting yourself essentially here, this version of yourself that you have to kind of uphold and live to, and you don't need to do that. You just gotta say what you think, truly just be who you are, and you're good. You're fighting a battle that doesn't really exist. This is an easy win for us, essentially. She's kind of just mad about nonsense here. We're good. Relax. You're good. And I think it does a really good job at getting her to publicly kind of like open up and speak on everything that she needs to. We talked for the most part about what each of these people kind of believe in and what they're going off of. We have another step-in moment, which is I feel like I've talked about it a lot within the series, and they constantly keep letting it happen, which I don't know if I necessarily love. Where is it? Wow, they did talk a lot, but I talked about most of that. Where he steps in over her and takes over, essentially showing that she's incapable of doing something, so he will do it for her, which works well in some sort of dynamics where you complement each other. So of course, if she's the main, he can kind of step in as being the vice and be able to be like, yeah, I can handle these issues that maybe you can't, or we are on the same page, but maybe I could word this a little bit better. And it works well in a team dynamic, but it also feels wrong in some sort of sense, like especially in a big stage like this, where the main arguments and stuff are coming between the two leads and the two heads here, as opposed to the actual full teams, and he should just kind of be in the background helping. And then he steps up and kind of overshines her here and talks to these people and fully gets the crowd on their side, which I don't know, it just makes me feel a little bit weird. I thought that he was going to almost step in and reassure everybody due to the chatters and stuff that just started being like happening about her being an outsider and everything, of like, you're with me, I know all this stuff, like I can uphold tradition, I can do all of this, like, and reassure everybody else that the person under has like the best intentions of that sort of stuff kind of in mind too. But instead he just doesn't talk about that in the slightest, and he just steps over entirely, and he just finishes things off a little bit more with exactly what I guess she should have said. And I get it's like a public speaking thing, and she was struggling in that moment, back against the wall type of thing. I don't know what to like do or say, so it's nice that you have somebody who can come up here and be able to tell you, or not even tell you, but just like do it for you. But I don't know, it just still, something about it just feels really off to me, which is what I've said before about the few other situations. Because if you have him step up here, my vision doesn't automatically go to, oh, they make a really good team, or they can complement each other really well. My immediate thought is, why is he not just running for president? He can clearly do all this. He's clearly more outspoken and better spoken in a crowd of people and everything. He could be the public figure and all of that sort of stuff. Why is he not the president himself? I feel that way a little bit more than I feel towards, oh, why, you know, they're a really good pairing, they're a really good team, and they work well, and they complement each other, and they're making some really good points. I just more so view it the other way. So I don't know. And that's the typical, I don't know, I feel like that happens a lot, where the president is the one who's actually like not as like they're the focused one. They're the one who like does absolutely everything, like all the work and all that stuff like behind the scenes. But I feel like the outward like spoken one, who is really good like publicly and like controlling things and everything, wants to always lurk in the shadows a little bit more, by not having the main spotlight on them and being the vice president. And I can think of a handful of shows that kind of like commonly follow this, because they don't want that full responsibility. And I get that fully, but from the outside perspective and the audience perspective, I would view this more of, I would rather this guy just kind of run and be the president, as opposed to him just being like underneath and not actually doing that. Because then it also puts a lack of trust maybe in her, and people might want to go to him more so with the issues and stuff that they have, as opposed to her, as opposed to them as a team or whatever, and might be a little bit more skeptical on like why they chose her to be the president as opposed to him or something, and like what this pairing actually was. I don't know, that's just kind of how I feel though. Let me know, maybe you guys feel a little off or feel a little bit different about that. She ends up running away. We learn a little bit about her and the way that she feels towards Yuki and everybody. So essentially she's just a big Yuki shipper. So I mean, I respect that as one myself. So I can respect that. But viewing something in an interesting way, I don't know entirely if it's admiration from the idea of like these people are perfect and they work in like sync together and everything like flows like seamlessly kind of under them, so it just shatters her completely when you see that relationship comes to the end. Like it's this parasocial like outside perspective that she almost has, where she sees two people in a relationship and she thinks that they're perfect, but like doesn't know everything kind of behind the scenes, and she only sees it on like a surface level. So she makes her own like assumptions and gets it stuck in her head that these things are like how they're supposed to be, and then you just get angry or dislike like another person like after that relationship kind of comes to an end in some sort of way. I feel like that's the vibe I almost get entirely off of her, or if it's literally just like the admiration of seeing people work closely like that and wanting something similar like that herself, and then being like envious almost that can be a situation, but then just being mad when seeing that thing that you've idolized for so long break up and realizing like I haven't been able to achieve this sort of relationship in any sort of meaningful way within my life yet, so now what the hell's gonna happen? Like if they can't even hold on to that, what's there for me? Like what gets left going into the future? I don't know. I'd be interested to see how we're going to continue her. I'm assuming that we're not just going to remove her entirely, because all of that basically destroyed her, and as she says, makes her give up her goals. So I don't know. But she is self-aware enough to realize that she did put them on a pedestal and view them in a certain light that isn't actually true. I mean, but what does this do? What is your friend? You don't view it like that in any sort of way? I don't know. Gonna work hard though to make sure that don't go to waste. Yuki being Yuki is fantastic. She's so fun, giving off the boss aura. I love it. Absolutely love it. Isn't that what you say before you're gonna lose? Wait a second. And we have a cute little moment, of course, between them two. A little bit realness coming out. No character, maybe as much between them. Really learning a bit about Masachika and her getting to finally get more of a peek into that. She says something here when asked about like, isn't it obvious, or like why did you like want to run with me, or like all of that, and it doesn't get translated, which is I'm assuming going to be relevant towards some sort of big reveal type of thing. So please don't let me know what that means, because she gets a Russian moment literally a minute later, and that gets translated for certain reasons, right? So don't kind of spoil that, but I have my own assumptions as to where we're headed almost with that. Why did you bring this up? You know, what the fuck was that about? It's, of course, to kind of relax you a little bit, but at the same time, it probably wasn't the best topic, maybe? I don't know. Of course, because you're going to have to deal with the aftermath here. Correct, just barely. Insane. Absolutely crazy. I love the ED visuals. Good episode. Questionable on some sort of things, I think, from my sort of perspective. I don't know, maybe you guys feel the same way. Maybe you don't at all. But I'm interested to see, now that we're going to develop this, maybe not the most interesting in terms of like student council stuff being a little overdone, in my opinion. So it's not maybe the most interesting, but I think the characters are lively enough to make it interesting. But it's interesting on the area that we are developing our characters really well throughout it. So I have no issue there. But the more interesting aspect of it is what's going to happen when we go up towards going against Yuki and bring her more into the fold here. So that's more so where I'm like looking forward to. And this was a little bump in the road to get our characters a little bit more on the same page and bring them a bit closer before they have to face that final boss that she's been building herself up to be. So I am very excited for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, all like and subscribe. If you want to be, feel free to check out the videos and channel in the comments for this episode of series. I'll be back for episode 9. What are we on? 9? Damn. Next week. I hope it's a great one. Peace.